Before we begin, I have just one request. Put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and let the world outside fade away. Because some stories aren't just meant to be heard, they're meant to be felt. Every whisper, every breath, every sound behind you might not be just in the story. So, are you ready? Let's begin. Title: Behind the Third Door. The first time Mason saw the house, it didn't seem special. Old, sure. Quiet. A little crooked, like it leaned forward just slightly, as though listening. It was the third house on a dead-end street that didn't appear on any modern GPS app. He'd taken a wrong turn during a weekend drive through rural Pennsylvania, looking for fall colors and isolation after a messy breakup and a string of sleepless nights. Something about the old colonial home drew him in. No sign, no mailbox, just an open gate and a cracked stone path leading to a front door that hadn't been painted in years. He didn't remember parking the car or walking through the gate, but suddenly he was standing on the porch, hand on the brass doorknob. The door creaked open with a sigh, and Mason stepped inside. The air was still, not stale, not dusty, just still, like a room that had waited centuries for someone to return. The interior looked preserved in time. Wooden furniture, wallpaper yellowed with age, lamps with stained glass shades. A grandfather clock ticked slowly in the corner, though its hands didn't move. The house felt aware, and yet it welcomed him. No cobwebs, no dust. Every surface gleamed faintly as if someone had cleaned that morning. There was no sound, no wind, no birds, no echoes. He moved room to room. Each one was immaculately preserved: a sitting room with a faded rug, a parlor with oil paintings of people he didn't recognize but felt disturbingly familiar, a kitchen with a kettle still warm to the touch. He didn't know why he didn't leave. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he wanted to disappear and the house knew. He told himself he'd just stay for an hour, maybe take a nap on the velvet couch. No one would miss him for a while, so he closed his eyes and the house exhaled. He woke to silence, darker now, colder. He wasn't on the couch anymore. He was in a hallway, long, narrow, endless. The wallpaper was different, wet, and there were 3 doors ahead of him, identical, old wood, brass knobs, no markings. Something moved behind the third door. A whisper, a knock, then stillness. Mason stepped forward, but a voice, his own voice, echoed faintly in his ear. Only open 2. He turned, startled. No one behind him. The first door opened easily. Inside was a memory. He was a child again. His parents were fighting in the kitchen. He stood in the hallway, silent, small, unseen. The room reeked of alcohol and disappointment. His father raised his hand. His mother didn't flinch. Mason blinked, and the door shut itself. The second door creaked. A hospital room, beeping machines, a bed with a woman, her eyes closed, skin pale, his sister, Lena. He hadn't seen her in years, not since the overdose, not since the guilt swallowed him whole. She turned her head, eyes opened, and she whispered, "Why didn't you come?" Mason stepped back. The door shut. Only one remained, the third door, the one that whispered, the one that waited. He reached for the knob, back, and the house shifted. The walls shuddered, the floor moaned. The grandfather clock, silent until now, began to tick. Faster, faster, faster. Something scraped behind the door. Mason hesitated, but the voice came again. This time, not his own. "You came here to open it." He turned the knob. Darkness, thick, complete. The hallway behind him vanished, and he stood in a room that was not a room. No walls, no ceiling, only mirrors, dozens, hundreds, stretching into infinity. Each one reflected him, but not as he was. One showed him old, dying, another pale, drowned, another hollow-eyed, bloody. He ran, mirror after mirror, each showing a version of himself that had suffered, broken, vanished. At the center stood a single chair, wooden, simple, facing one final mirror. Mason sat, the mirror flickered, and in it he saw the house. From outside, night had fallen. His car was still parked in the overgrown driveway, but someone else was in the driver's seat, someone who looked just like him. The engine roared to life, and the car drove away, leaving the gate open, leaving him behind. He screamed, pounded on the mirror, no sound. The house had taken him, replaced him, and no one would know. Time passed, or didn't, he couldn't tell, but the mirrors began to fill. Other faces, other people, each in their own mirror prison. Some screaming, some crying, some just watching. Mason realized the truth. The house wasn't haunted, it was hungry. And each person who entered, everyone who felt lost, tired, alone, fed it. Through pain, through memory, through mirrors. It offered rest, and then consumed them. The house looked unchanged, welcoming, quiet, just another old home on a forgotten street. And soon someone else would walk through the gate. The house would smile, the door would open, and Mason would be there, behind the third door, waiting.